This trailer changes everything. Just when we thought Maxton Hall couldn't get any darker, the first look at Season 3 proves one thing very clearly. No one is safe, trust is about to be shattered, and the fallout from that finale is only getting worse. If you thought Season 2 was painful, Season 3 looks like it's here to emotionally ruin us all over again. The Maxton Hall Season 3 trailer doesn't waste a single second pretending things will be okay. From the very first moments, the atmosphere feels heavy, tense, and almost hopeless. The colors are colder, the silence is louder, and every look between the characters feels loaded with things left unsaid. This season is clearly about consequences. There's no soft reset, no time jump to make things easier. We are dropped right back into the chaos where Season 2 left us, and the emotional damage is still fresh. Ruby looks exhausted, not just sad but completely worn down, like someone who has been fighting nonstop and is finally running out of strength. Her suspension hangs over her like a shadow, and you can feel how isolated she's become. The trailer makes it clear that the scandal didn't just affect her future, it changed how everyone looks at her. Whispers, stares, and silence follow her everywhere, and that might be one of the most painful parts to watch. James, on the other hand, looks like a mess in a very different way. He's not angry or explosive like before. He's quiet, distant, and clearly drowning in guilt. Every shot of him feels restrained, like he's holding back something he doesn't know how to say out loud. And that distance between him and Ruby? It's brutal. They're in the same spaces, but emotionally they couldn't be further apart. The trailer leans hard into that tension, showing us just enough to understand that whatever bond they had is dangerously close to breaking. There's no comfort here, no romantic relief. Just unresolved pain. And then, Season 3 looks like it's going to push Ruby to a place we've never seen her before, and honestly, that's saying a lot. The trailer makes it painfully clear that this isn't just another obstacle for her to overcome with hard work and determination. This time, the system itself has turned against her. Ruby has always believed that if she stayed focused, played by the rules, and worked harder than everyone else, things would eventually work out. But now, every single thing she worked for is slipping through her fingers. And no amount of studying or discipline can fix that. The scholarship exams, Oxford, her future, all of it feels suddenly unreachable. And what hurts the most is that none of this is really her fault. The trailer shows Ruby moving through the halls of Maxton Hall like a ghost, present but invisible, judged without being heard. Teachers look at her differently, students whisper. Even silence feels accusing. It's that kind of quiet isolation that slowly breaks a person, and you can see it in her eyes. What makes this season feel so personal is that Ruby isn't just fighting rumors or punishment, she's fighting the loss of her identity. For so long, she was the scholarship girl, the one who made it into Maxton Hall through merit alone. Now that title feels stripped away, replaced with something ugly and unfair. The trailer hints that Ruby starts questioning herself in ways she never did before. Was it all pointless? Was dreaming too big a mistake? There's this constant emotional weight hanging over her, like she's carrying everyone's disappointment on her back, even though she doesn't deserve it. And for the first time, Ruby looks truly tired of being strong. Not dramatic, not loud, just quietly exhausted. The family pressure doesn't help either. The bakery situation still lingers in the background, and even when it's not directly shown, you can feel how much guilt Ruby carries for what her family has lost. She's not just fighting for herself anymore. If Ruby's journey in Season 3 is about losing everything she believed in, then James's story looks like it's about finally realizing the cost of his silence. The trailer presents a version of James we're not used to seeing. He's not confident, not defiant, not even angry in the usual way. Instead, he looks trapped. Every scene he's in carries this heavy sense of guilt, like he's constantly bracing himself for something to collapse. And in many ways it already has. His relationship with Ruby is hanging by a thread. His family expectations are tighter than ever, and the weight of his father's influence feels suffocating. The biggest emotional driver for James this season seems to be blame, whether it's real or misunderstood. The idea that Ruby believes he betrayed her completely destroys him. The trailer makes it clear that James doesn't know how to defend himself without making things worse. He looks torn between wanting to explain everything and believing that he doesn't even deserve to be heard. That internal conflict is written all over his face. For once, James can't charm his way out of the situation or use his status as a shield. Nothing he has is enough to fix this, and that helplessness is new for him. Mortimer's shadow looms especially large over James in this first look. The trailer strongly suggests that Mortimer is tightening his grip, using the chaos as a way to pull James back under control. Business pressure, family legacy, public image, all of it feels weaponized. Mortimer doesn't need to yell or threaten. He simply waits, confident that James will eventually fall back into line. And for a while it looks like James might. Not because he agrees, but because he's exhausted. Fighting your own father, especially one who holds so much power, isn't something you can do without losing parts of yourself along the way. What makes this arc so compelling is that Season 3 doesn't portray James as a perfect hero. He's complicit in ways he doesn't want to admit. Season 3 looks like it's going to be driven by one central question that refuses to stay buried. Who really destroyed Ruby's future? The trailer leans heavily into mystery and suspicion, making it clear that the scandal wasn't just an unfortunate misunderstanding. Someone wanted this to happen. Every pause, every cut, every loaded glance suggests that the truth is far more calculated than anyone initially believed. And that realization changes everything. This isn't about teenage mistakes anymore. It's about manipulation at the highest level, and the damage it leaves behind. One of the most unsettling things about the trailer is how many characters seem to be carrying secrets. Teachers look uneasy, parents avoid eye contact. Even students who once felt powerless now seem aware that something bigger is unfolding. There's this constant feeling that everyone knows a piece of the puzzle, but no one has the full picture yet. And that silence? It's dangerous. The longer the truth stays hidden, the more Ruby suffers, and the more irreversible the consequences become. Season 3 appears ready to explore how institutions protect themselves, even when they're wrong, and how easily truth gets buried when powerful people are involved. Mortimer's influence is woven into every layer of this mystery. The trailer doesn't need to show him committing any specific act to make it clear he's involved. His calm confidence is more telling than any outburst ever could be. He moves through situations like someone who already knows the outcome, and that's terrifying. It feels like he's been several steps ahead the entire time, quietly redirecting blame, controlling narratives, and ensuring that no one ever looks too closely at him. And the scariest part? Most people let him. Not because they agree with him, but because standing up to him comes at a cost they're not willing to pay. At the same time, the trailer hints that cracks are starting to form. Small ones, but enough to matter. Certain. By the time the trailer reaches its final moments, one thing becomes painfully clear. Season 3 isn't just another chapter. It feels like the beginning of the end of the Maxton Hall story as we know it. Everything the characters have been running from, denying, or avoiding is finally catching up with them. There's a sense of finality in the way the trailer is structured, like every choice made in the past 2 seasons is now demanding to be answered for. Nothing feels accidental anymore. Every look, every silence, every strained interaction feels deliberate, as if the show itself is saying there will be no easy resolutions this time. What Season 3 really seems to promise is transformation, but not the comforting kind. This is about painful growth. Ruby is no longer the girl trying to prove she belongs in Maxton Hall. She already knows she does. Now she's fighting for the right to define her own future, even if that means standing alone. The trailer suggests that her journey won't be about returning to who she was before the scandal, because that version of Ruby no longer exists. This is about becoming someone stronger, more self-aware, and far less willing to be silenced. And that kind of change never comes without loss. James's arc feels just as final. Season 3 seems ready to force him into a decision that can't be undone. The trailer hints that whatever choice he makes will permanently alter his relationship with his family, his status, and his sense of identity. There's no middle ground left for him. He can't keep one foot in his father's world, and one foot in Ruby's. Eventually, he will have to choose who he is when everything is taken away, and that choice won't come with reassurance. It will come with consequences that follow him long after the season ends. What's especially powerful about this first look is how it frames love in a much more realistic, almost brutal way. Season 3 doesn't promise grand romantic gestures or fairy tale endings. It asks a harder cue. If the first 8 sections of this trailer have shown us anything, it's that Season 3 is going to be a full-on emotional roller coaster. The tension isn't just in the plot twists or the scandals, it's in the way the characters are portrayed, broken down, and rebuilt before our eyes. Ruby's struggles aren't just about a scholarship or a suspension, they're about identity, agency, and standing up against forces that feel larger than life. Every decision she makes, every reaction she has, resonates because we've been with her from the start. That long build-up makes her victories sweeter, her setbacks sharper, and her betrayals feel devastating. And the trailer doesn't shy away from showing just how much pressure she's under. You can feel it radiating from her expressions, her pauses, her silent moments of despair. James's story is equally heart-wrenching. The first look makes it clear that guilt and pressure have taken a toll on him. He's no longer just a confident, slightly privileged student. He's someone who's beginning to understand the consequences of inaction, of silence, and of choices made under manipulation. Watching him wrestle with his father's control, his feelings for Ruby, and the unraveling of the life he thought he could control, makes the stakes feel intensely real. It's not just a teen drama anymore. It's a story about accountability, resilience, and the cost of power when it's wielded irresponsibly. The trailer also hints at moments of quiet intensity that will likely hit harder than any scandal or confrontation. Long stares, unresolved glances, and tiny moments of hesitation carry massive emotional weight. It's in these small human beats that the suspense grows exponentially because they remind us that the characters are vulnerable, fragile, and human. The trailer seems to be saying, expect heartbreak, expect tension, but also expect growth. This is the season where every emotional investment pays off, or shatters spectacularly. Mortimer's shadow low. By the end of this trailer, the most striking feeling isn't just suspense, it's anticipation. Every scene, every glance, every subtle gesture screams that nothing in Maxton Hall will ever be the same. Season 3 promises to escalate the stakes on every level. Ruby's future, James's choices, Mortimer's manipulation, and the web of secrets surrounding the school all feel like ticking time bombs waiting to explode. And the tension isn't just external, it's internal too. Characters are grappling with guilt, regret, fear, and anger in ways that make the viewer feel every heartbeat, every hesitation, every potential mistake. One of the most thrilling aspects of this first look is how unpredictable it is. Unlike earlier seasons, where certain outcomes felt inevitable, the trailer makes it clear that no one is safe. Relationships can break, reputations can be ruined, and plans that seemed foolproof can collapse in an instant. That unpredictability keeps viewers on edge, because you never know who will survive emotionally, who will fight back, or who will be crushed by the weight of consequences. And the genius of this first look is that it doesn't reveal the answers. It teases them, just enough to make your imagination run wild. The stakes aren't just personal, either, they're systemic. The trailer hints at the larger forces controlling Maxton Hall, including the administration, wealthy benefactors, and even foundations that should be protecting students like Ruby. This season seems determined to show that power is not always fair, and the consequences of challenging it are rarely simple. That makes the victories harder to earn, the setbacks sharper, and the tension unbearable. Every decision carries weight, and the trailer makes sure we feel that weight in every frame. But amid the chaos, there's hope, a faint, quiet kind, but hope nonetheless. The trailer suggests that characters like Ruby and James aren't powerless. Even when the world seems stacked against them, they have ag. Under all the tension, anger, and uncertainty, there's a quieter promise hidden inside this first look. And that's what makes Season 3 feel so important. Beyond the manipulation, the broken trust, and the emotional damage, the trailer suggests that this season is ultimately about choice. Not the kind that's forced on you, but the kind you make when everything familiar has already been taken away. Every main character seems to be standing at a point where doing nothing is no longer an option. Staying silent, staying comfortable, staying protected all come with a price now, and that price is starting to feel unbearable. What makes this especially powerful is that the trailer doesn't rush these moments, it lets them breathe. It allows characters to sit with the consequences of their past actions instead of immediately fixing them. Ruby isn't suddenly vindicated. James isn't instantly forgiven. The system isn't magically corrected. That restraint makes the emotional payoff feel earned, even before we've seen it. Season 3 looks like it understands that healing is slow, messy, and often incomplete. And for a show like Maxton Hall, that honesty feels like a bold move. There's also a sense that Season 3 is expanding its emotional focus beyond just one couple. The first look hints that everyone is being forced to grow up in their own way. Some will choose courage, others will choose comfort, and some will realize too late that they chose wrong. That variety of paths makes the story feel richer and more grounded. It reminds us that not everyone gets a redemption arc, and not every story ends with clarity. Sometimes all you get is the chance to do better than you did before. What really lingers after watching the trailer is the feeling that Maxton Hall is no longer just telling a love story. It's telling a story about power, voice, and what happens when young people finally push back against systems designed to keep them small. It's skipping the state so well innate to PhDTR. What makes the Season 3 trailer so unsettling isn't just what it shows, but what it refuses to explain. There are no clear answers, no comforting voiceovers, no reassurance that things will work out in the end. Instead, the trailer leaves us sitting with uncertainty, and that's exactly why it works. It feels intentional, almost cruel, in the best possible way. The show knows the audience is desperate for clarity after that Season 2 ending, and instead of giving it to us, it doubles down on the chaos. That choice alone tells us Season 3 is going to demand patience, emotional investment, and a lot of tolerance for discomfort. One of the biggest reasons this first look has fans on edge is the way it reframes expectations. For 2 seasons, Maxton Hall balanced romance with drama. Season 3 looks like it's shifting that balance entirely. Romance is still there, but it no longer feels like the center of the story. It feels fragile, uncertain, and constantly under threat. The trailer suggests that love in this world doesn't protect you. If anything, it makes you more vulnerable. And that's a scary realization for a show built on emotional connection. It signals that no relationship, no matter how